You face the evil dragon who is in the possession of the fiery sword needed to defeat the demonic forces. Hey, can you let me have that sword lodged in your arm? Oh. This twig? Yeah, sure, says the dragon. Wait, is this why your kind has been attacking my den for all these years? I had heard the stories. There hasn't been a single man, woman, or child who hadn't heard legends of heroes who tried to claim the mighty sword that had been soaked in dragon's blood. A blade rumored to be sheathed in fire so hot that even a glancing blow would reduce the opponent to cinders. Many had tried, and many had failed. Attempting to claim the dragon sword, Crimson Dawn, was both an honorable and foolish goal. Scholars from the Mages Guild teamed up with lead strategists to try and find out the proper force needed to relinquish the dragon's hold on the sword. They came up with a plan that would take 10 years. A year or two to find and recruit the necessary men and women and 5 years to train them all in the appropriate skills, arts, and magic. The remaining 3 or 4 years would be used to finalize gathering up the resources needed to not only reclaim the sword but also make an effort to fight back the demonic forces. I, however, did not have 10 years. I barely had 1 year before the demons took over my home country. I had nightmares for days, wondering what they would do to my hometown once the country was overrun. So, I journeyed to the den of the Crimson Dragon to get the sword myself. I'd see my sister and mother in the afterlife if worse came to worse. I didn't have much of a plan going in. I was a squire with barely any sword skills under my belt. The few I did have wouldn't even make a scratch in the dragon's scales. Especially with the cheap sword at my side. However, I had little choice. When it came time to meet the dragon, its head towered over me, casting a great shadow with the aid of the sun beaming down. I could see smoke billowing out from its nostrils as its orange eyes glared down at the human that had come to disturb its rest. All the bravado I had managed to build up had left in an instant. Any half-baked plan I had devised went up in smoke, just like how I would be in a few moments if I didn't act. So, I asked my question and was surprised when it worked. I felt the weight of the sword in my hand. The flames that had cloaked the blade when it had been removed from the dragon's hide died down to reveal that the sword was a brilliant crimson red. I was so lost in my wonder that I had accidentally ignored the dragon. Something that it didn't take kindly to. A whirlwind of hot air got my attention back on the ancient being. Answer my question, human. Have your kind been annoying me for years just to get this pathetic splinter from my arm? The dragon asked. Based on its voice, I began to suspect that the dragon was male. However, I could be wrong. That was a topic for later. Yeah. I suppose. I rubbed the back of my head sheepishly. From the dragon's perspective, I figured that humans had been bugging him all for something of little value to him. It would be like ants constantly attacking me for a splinter stuck in my hand. Humanity needed this sword, but I could feel where the dragon came from. The groan from the dragon shook the cavern walls as he put his head into his hands. Og. Of course. You humans and your obsession with metal pointy things. If I had known that, I would have given that thing away years ago. The dragon complained. Do you know how infuriating it is to be woken up during a nap by a giant magic ice ball? Don't even get me started on the cleanup, either. I lost a potential mate because of you humans. He didn't want to be with me because my den was infested and filthy. Okay, so the dragon was female. Or, they could be gay. It'd be best to keep things neutral. Well. On behalf of all humans, I'm sorry for the trouble we've caused you. I apologize to the dragon. The dragon let out a huff and a plum of flame shot out through their nose and hit one of the stone walls, leaving behind molten earth. Taking that as a sign that things were going bad, I quickly offered something to appease them. Hey, I think I know a way that we can make up for it. If things work out how I think they will, you'll have an entire country in your debt. The dragon turned their attention towards me again. Their gaze a mix of fury and curiosity. I'm listening. The dragon drawled. I smiled a bit as I relayed my plan. Thus, the legend of Flynn, the first dragon rider, and his trusted dragon partner, Moltekinia, the Crimson Death, started, the savers of the human race and conquerors of demonkind.